Being distressed again tonight for the 100th time. A lot of chaos happening in the atmosphere, and making me distressed because I'm totally getting my brains blown away, and there's nothing you can do about stupid spirits. Floating in your room and ripping a few brain cells off. Just lets you know that you won't have elongated life or anything. You probably just waste your life, end up in a cannibal stew, because I do probably live, in a place where there's cannibals. Real estate's probably into it, and I'm probably just going to pass my body on to the cannibals rather than tell anyone that I've died. That's usually what they do in any state in Australia. I'm sure there's a lot of people that's gone missing for a reason, and it's because people just see a dead body, they pick it up and do whatever they want with it. So that's that fact is really distressing me. I mean, I hate the people here. The people from Javal High School, from the Emerald Dancers in Inverell. There's a lot of people who have moved here, and they're just I'm sure that this is a big family group that lives here, and they just want to pass on rooms, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty much spiritually harassed, if not actually harassed, by neighbors and stuff. So the fact that I'm just sitting here in this big porn housing, it's not even government housing. It's supposed to be a 5-star street, but it's like totally it's what you'd expect in a red light zone. I mean, there's that much masturbation on the air. People here are thugs. They walk around like prostitutes. I think everyone's part-time or past jobs have been in porn movies and prostitution. I mean, I think we've got a whole cluster of past porn and even directors of porn and whatnot, just all sitting in this one apartment. And they didn't tell you on the ad that this is like a porn house, but it just seems to be. A lot of people would say, a lot of people are really pornographic because, as they've gotten to adults, they've needed money, they've done porn and sold themselves, even prostituted themselves, in one way to another, whether it's in an ethnic group, in a controlled group, or whether it's on the street. Most adults would claim that they're total prostitutes for the bosses, if not for other people. They've, gone through that role where they've grown up to an adult just because they've been able to sleep with heaps of people, and so the fact that there are people who have prostituted themselves, who probably worked in prostitution rings, living here. It wouldn't grow alarm in itself. It's just that I feel like the harassment is a little bit too much, and strange sense. Like I said before, I don't know if anyone's actually being cooked downstairs, or whether people are just frying some of their own selves in a frying pan with a meal or something, or what, or whether it's just like some sort of ugly stew that stinks. It seems that this is a total what you'd expect in a red light zone to me. I've never lived in this community before. It's on the brink of Hawthorne, in an area which could also be considered Camberwell. But I never want to live in here again. It looks nice on the outside, but once you get in on the inside, there's a total influx of red light zone like atmosphere and activities. You don't know whether the person next door is a killer or a thug. You don't know whether something that sounds like a person dropping dead is actually someone who's fainted, or someone who's just got some sort of mental disorder, or whether they're actually being killed. You don't know what's going on here, and as much as you'd want to know, I mean, you'd want to look through a wall and be able to see what's going on, whether you should, be able to videotape something or tell the cops or something, but you can't do anything. You're just sitting in your room going brain damaged, and I think anyways, this is the worst place I've ever lived. I want to move into a new place, don't ask me where. I don't know whether I want to move into a new rental, whether I want to own my own place. I want to, if I own my own place, I'd get a cheap place, so that I'd be like owning it within a couple of years, or for up to 4 years, whereas if I rent a place, I'd be spending 4 years just paying off someone else's bill. So that's the whole deal about owning my own place. There's a couple of cheap places that I could, buy that are under $100,000, and it wouldn't be too hard to pay the rent for that. But at the same time, I'm so iffy about this area. I mean, I don't know whether to just move off to another rental until I feel calm enough to be able to make the decision to actually, decide rationally where I want to live, or if I want to buy anything in the future. But at the moment, I feel really trashed up. I feel terrible. I feel like I could die from one day to the next, from brain damage, and I feel like I could go missing, because of the fact that I think I live among abductors. I think the real estates are abductors. It wouldn't surprise me if I fell down dead and I'd be abducted, sometime in the future, when I'm found. I probably wouldn't be found until I'm probably a really rotten corpse, because I don't get that many visitors. But if and when I did get found, it wouldn't surprise me what could be done. And I'm just really depressed about it, I guess, because I definitely do feel depressed about dying in the right spot, and what's going on around me, and dying because of brain damage from spiritual interference, and thuggeries around me. I grow depressed about all of that. When I once lived in a nicer place, and I do wonder what I'm supposed to do about it most of the time.